Welcome back. If you're just joining us, you're watching the news at 10 live on Channels Television. A reminder of our top stories. INEC officially presents consolidated voter register of 84 million voters for the 2019 general elections to all political parties in the country. According to the document, Lagos has the highest number of voters with 6.6 million, followed by Kano with 5.5 million voters. And then in the geopolitical zone distribution, Northwest leads the pack with 24%, followed by Southwest with 19%. President Muhammadu Buhari inaugurates All Progressives Congress Presidential Campaign Council, asks members to keep their eyes on the ball and ensure success in the 2019 polls. Court nullifies all primaries conducted by APC factions in River State, effectively ruling out the party's candidates in the 2019 elections. And Gabonese government falls coup attempt by dissident army officers. ChannelsTV.com has more information for you, and on youtube.com/channelsweb you can watch our videos. You can also watch us on your mobile device via your browser or download the Channels TV app for Android and iOS devices from the respective stores. Besides giving you access to news and updates on the go, the Channels TV and Channels 24 app have an eyewitness feature that you can use to share pictures, videos or news of happenings around you. Just install the app, then tap and swipe to reveal the menu, and please follow the instructions. The Federal High Court sitting in Port Harcourt has nullified all primary elections conducted by both factions of the All Progressives Congress APC in River State. The court judgment also restrains INEC from presenting Mrs. Tonye Cole, Magnus Abe and others as candidates in the 2019 elections in River State. Senator Abe's faction had approached the Supreme Court challenging the appeal court revalidating the APC congresses in the state. The apex court invalidated the appeal court's ruling and ordered the parties to return to a lower court. Our correspondent Emmanuel Ere has the report.
As early as 8 a.m., tension builds as lawyers, party supporters and journalists arrive at the doorway of the Federal High Court 5. The heavy presence of security operatives also speaks volume about the importance of the court ruling to the political class in the state. Two matters are on the table. The Magnus Abe-led faction of the APC is asking the court to declare Senator Abe the authentic candidate of the party for the 2019 elections in the state. And then the PDP is also asking the court to determine whether INEC can present candidates from a party that has not followed due process. The presiding judge, Justice James Omotosho, held that the issue of jurisdiction was not in question, while ruling that the direct and indirect primaries conducted by the APC run foul of the law, therefore restraining INEC from fielding the party's candidates. Talking points continue outside.
We will take a look at the judgment and discuss with our clients, for we see a line of distinction which is in consonance with the decision of the Supreme Court. In the case of PDP and Oranusi, reported in Part 1618 Nigeria Weekly Report, where primary elections conducted by the State Working Committee of a party was upheld by the Supreme Court.
When a judgment is delivered, you have to look at it and decide whether you're going to appeal against it or you're going to abandon it. But this being a political judgment, where interests of several persons are at stake, we are going to test it at the Court of Appeal.
It all appears to sit well with the PDP.
It is gratifying to note that the court, after looking at all the facts, all the arguments, and interpreted all the provisions of the law, they came to that conclusion that the All Progressives Congress did not comply with the requirements of the Electoral Act and are therefore not eligible. They are not entitled to participate in the 2019 general elections in respect of elective offices in River State.
Today's judgment gives a strong footing to the judgment of Justice Chiwendu Nwogu of the River State High Court on October 10, 2018, which nullified the congresses of the APC in the state and all actions thereof. These pronouncements by Justice James Omotosho of the Federal High Court in Port Harcourt may have opened new vistas of controversies for some in the coming days. But what is of essence now is the time is running out as the elections are just around the corner. Emmanuel Ere, Channels Television News.
Emmanuel Ere earlier today. But the judgment of the High Court in Port Harcourt today is a new twist in the power play that has characterized the All Progressives Congress in River State since the beginning of the current civilian dispensation in 2015. The party has been battling with one crisis or the other following the disagreement between the major leaders of the party in the state. Again, Emmanuel Ere looks at the journey that culminated in today's ruling.
In politics, there are no permanent enemies, but permanent interests. This common saying in political circles may best describe the root cause of the political crisis of the APC in River State, as in the case of the party ahead of the elections in the state.
These villagers are deceived by men who come and tell them.
The former governor Rotimi Amechi and the senator representing River South East Senatorial District, Magnus Abe, can easily be described as allies. Backdate to 2007. Magnus Abe served as secretary to the state government under the then Governor Amechi before going on to become a senator in 2011.
5 o'clock.
And in 2015, Abe did not hide his intention to run. But the former Governor Amechi had his preference in Dakuku Peter side, who lost the 2015 governorship election to the incumbent governor, Nyesom Wike.
Stakeholders of the party who have invested so much effort and sacrifice.
And in 2018, the same scenario plays up. Abe wants to run. Amechi has a preferred candidate, Tony Cole. This time, the party split into two. Two primaries, two sets of executives, and two sets of candidates. And the rest is history. Emmanuel Ere, Channels Television News.
Well, joining us on the News at 10 is Professor Tahir Maman, Senior Advocate of Nigeria and also the Vice Chancellor, Bayes University, Abuja. Many thanks for joining us on the News at 10. This judgment from Port Harcourt is coming about 39 days to the elections. What do you make of the timing?
The timing is certainly a problem for the party because the INEC is not going to stop its program and activities because of problems, internal problems to parties. And it has about 90 parties to deal with, so APC is not the only party. Now, what has happened in Rivers is probably a very good demonstration of a phrase usually used when we had East-West problems during the Cold War. The phrase used was MAD, mutual assured destruction. And here we have a party which is factionalized, and this factionalization, this tussle for power, now dating back to, going back to the struggle over the Congress and then the primaries, which have led to disobedience of court order and rule of law along the line. And basically, the courts, especially the Supreme Court, have been very emphatic on any institutions or people acting outside judicial decisions. Once there's a court decision on the matter, it becomes inviolate. That decision is a subsisting law that can only be discharged or set aside by a superior court. So until that happens, any further action or proceedings based on it will be a nullity.
It's interesting.
So
Professor Mammon, it's interesting you mentioned that because the judge was quoted to have said that the APC, for failing to obey the law, must bear the consequences, sadly taking both factions back to square one. But, you know, have we witnessed anything of this nature in past elections? Do you think this judgment would affect the play of politics in the forthcoming elections in River State?
Oh, certainly it will, because unless APC are able to get around this decision, it means they are going to the elections without candidates at all these levels, which the courts have decided. And the options are really, they are running out of options, because the usual approach advised by lawyers is to go on appeal. But in the present situation, I'm not too sure how appeal will salvage them. And in any case, the Supreme Court have actually sent them back to the lower court. And remember, the foundation for this problem is actually the illegality or decision of subsisting court over the congresses which were held. And so appeal may not salvage that process. The other option open to them will be order of mandamus that could address both the issue of the congresses and the issue of the primaries taken together. But again, for that to happen, the two warring factions will have to agree to work together. Otherwise, any further step taken by one of them could be challenged by the other, and it will not become a vicious cycle by all of them until the elections are concluded.
What about the Independent National Electoral Commission? What should they be doing now and also in the coming days ahead when we know maybe one of the faction will be appealing, and also perhaps the future for political parties?
The option, INEC has only one option, which is to obey the order of the court. And until a decision, another decision comes up, either by a speedy court or discharge. Yeah, it can only by a speedy court, then there's nothing else that it can do in the matter other than to wait. And it already has its timelines. As I said, it cannot freeze it because of problems in one party.
The question about political parties now, learning from this, as of course our electoral laws and general elections build as we grow that in Nigeria, what do you think political parties need to do looking ahead at the future of elections in Nigeria?
I think the decision of the courts all along since 1999 have helped in no small measure, actually, in getting parties to play according to the rules, their own internal rules, Electoral Act, and the laws of the land. The parties have been behaving like they are, some of them, if not most of them, have been behaving like we are in a jungle. And in the political process of Nigeria now, they seem to be the weakest link, actually. INEC has been growing and demonstrating commitment to rule of law and doing things right. And, but the political parties have been weighing everybody down. So it's through this intervention, the courts have been helping immensely, actually, in growing the rule of law and constitutionalism in Nigeria. And I think they should continue to be commended for that. And in any case, by way of an irony, the parties should also be encouraged and commended for going to court instead of resorting to self-help. Because as we grow, move in this direction, we will continue to grow our law and order and, you know, acting according to law, both rules of the parties and then the national legal framework for organizing our political process.
I'd like to thank you, Professor Tahir Mammon, Vice-Chancellor, Bayes University, Abuja, for joining us on the News at 10. When the News at 10 returns, World Bank President Yong Kim resigns 3 years to the end of his tenure. That's on Business News. Please stay with us.